Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating, is it not?
Yep. Yes.
What brings you here? You have a general idea of what this is all about?
If I was to say, I want you in 800 words or less, to you to tell me, if I could never have a chance to talk with you ever again, if you had to get your whole shot in 800 words, and then it's over, you're not allowed to talk anymore, you're clammed up forever, so what would you say to me, or to the physical world?
Read the book.
Read the book.
We like it more when you give us time deadline, because we can talk very fast and say...
Instead of number of words?
You have reason for this.
Yes, I have reason for everything.
I would say to you, is this written or spoken word?
Oh, I'm going to write it. I'm going to transcribe it.
You are creator of your experience. Better word than creator is attractor. The reason that you attract is because you vibrate. The reason that you vibrate is that you think. The balance of thought that is within you as a result of the things you think equals your vibration, your point of attraction. As you look into your experience and see things that you are not wanting, it is because you've been vibrating about them. Every subject is two subjects, that which is wanted and lack of it. And so if there is lack of something you want within your experience, or something that you do not want in your experience, it is there for one reason only. You've been vibrating there. How do you know when you're vibrating in a place of lack? You feel the disconnectedness between you, the physical you, and the inner you. Negative emotion is the indicator of that restriction of the flow of energy. And so if you have negative motion while you are thinking, that is an indicator that that thought is vibrating in a place of lack, and you have caught yourself red-handed in the act of your miscreating. That should be about 800 words.
Thank you.
We're understanding we have room for more here, however.
That's
Agreed?
nice, isn't it?
What are you wanting to talk about? What brings you here? Deliberate creators that you are.
Good afternoon, Abraham. I'm real excited about being here. I don't know why, but it's just been kind of an exciting day. Abraham, we had discussed last time I was here about the point, Jerry had brought it up, like the girl had an argument with her boyfriend and she was driving off on her motorcycle and she had a collision which killed her, and within this negative emotion she attracted the circumstances. Well, through my lifetime I've had lots of accidents and I've also had a lot of negativity emotionally, and so I guess through my accidents that was the path of least resistance of me receiving.
Or the path of most allowance.
Yeah. But tell me, you know, I can sit there and I can think about why do I allow accidents to come into my life where some people allow burglars? Can you explain it to me? Personally me.
We're going to tell you a story, and then we will bring it back into the context of what you are asking specifically. For there is nothing more important for us to chew upon together today than this business of vibrating, this business of attracting, this business of creating deliberately or indeliberately. Jerry and Esther arrived home a few days ago from a quick trip out to the post office, and when they were at their gate, they saw three men standing on the edge of the property. And so Jerry went to see what they are about. And when he came to Esther, he said, "These men have been hired to cut all of the trees from this property next to us." And right away Esther felt great sadness coming up within her, and her eyes filled up with tears right away. And then she felt angry, and she looked at her mate, who was standing there rather placid seeming. He was maintaining his equilibrium while Esther had gone right off the negative chart. And Esther wanted to shout at him. She did not, but she wanted to shout at him, "Do something! Don't let them cut down my trees." Then Esther said, "Abraham, talk me through this." And we said to her, "The thought that you are having in this moment is not in harmony with something you want. And Esther chided at us, Abraham, that is obvious. We said to her, Esther, nothing is more important than that you change your vibration. That is the only thing in all of the universe that is of any significance at all to you right now in this moment. The trees are secondary, the tree cutters are secondary, the man who owns the land who will cut the trees is secondary. Everything in the universe is secondary. The only thing for you to give your attention to is your vibration, the way you are feeling. And so Esther lay down on the sofa with the intent of changing her vibration. But the momentum was strong, and she kept going in the same direction, and she thought, this man is a monster. He buys land, he cuts all the trees, makes the land look worse, destroys the home of all the little creatures. And Esther knows by the way she is feeling that she is going in the wrong direction of her intention. And so then, with the intent, the primary, dominant, only intent of changing her vibration, Esther says in her mind, now wait a minute, this man does not know me. He is not even aware of me. He does not know these trees are important to me, and surely if he knows that a little band of trees is important for my buffer for the view, he can leave the trees that are important to me while he cuts the trees that are important to him. And now Esther is feeling better. In other words, she has changed her vibration, and in changing her vibration, she has altered the future outcome of this event, you see. Now, he leaves a message on her machine saying, I will walk the property with you. And when he walks with Jerry, his parting words to Jerry are, please tell your Esther not to worry, I will not cut any trees that are important to her. Now, what we are wanting you to hear from this, there are a number of things. First of all, is that nothing is more important than the way you are vibrating, because the way you are vibrating is what is attracting the future events. But we're also wanting you to hear the wholeness of this story. Jerry and Esther had only left the house one time during that day, and yet they managed to rendezvous very precisely with information that would let them know that someone else who shares this planet had a different intention than they held for the same little piece of planet, you see. In other words, you do share this planet with others, and there are others who hold different intentions. And so by rendezvousing with this information, Esther was able to tell by the way she felt as she heard the information, the disharmony of what this man wanted and what she wanted, which gave her clarity. Then she was wise enough to adjust her vibration so that she could alter the future events so that she could find harmony. Do you see? Now, what we are most wanting you to hear from this is, as Jerry and Esther were moving through that day, they were very busy, many things to do. And Esther had said, in fact, as they were leaving, we must be very quick about this, for there is someone calling. We do not have much time for this little run to the post office. And yet, on this busy drive, they stopped and got a Coke at Wendy's. They stopped and spontaneously delivered some eggs to a friend, and stopped to see how the power steering was coming on their little truck. And all of this impulse or compulsion, or we call it divine inspiration or guidance, is what was responsible for the synchronistic meeting at the gate. In other words, those men were only at the gate for 2 or 3 minutes. Jerry and Esther were gone 11 of the following 14 days, and so it was important that they understand what was going to happen in advance. Otherwise, they would have come back after the fact, and then it is a bit hard to find your harmony after the fact. Now, we could talk for 100 years and not accurately or adequately describe the synchronicity that takes place in your life in one day. And it is really a fruitless effort to try to point out all of the little things. But we will say to you that if you can imagine the vessel, not a blood vessel, but a life vessel that flows between the physical you and the inner you that has broad perspective. And when you are feeling good, that vessel is open and flowing, so that you are in a place that you can receive the impulse to stop here, to go there, to turn here, to go here. That is the way you find yourself synchronistically and joyfully moving through life experience. When you are, for whatever reason, you do not have to explain it or justify how you got there, but when you are in a place where you are feeling lack, and so that life flow is restricted and your guidance is not as supreme, then you do not have access to that sort of guidance, and then you make bad decisions, or at least decisions that are not as wonderful, and then life is harder. Then you are having to bang more things about, you see. And so now we will get back to what you've asked. what we are really wanting you to hear from us is that it is not necessary for you to identify what thoughts you have been thinking that have resulted in this or that or whatever. That will make you crazy. The only thing that is necessary is that you decide, my vibration is of uppermost importance, and everything else is far down on the list. And if you will let the way you are vibrating, which means the way you are feeling, which means the way you are thinking, be of uppermost importance, then you will catch yourself, as Esther did, recognize. If she had gone after that man when she was in that place of, you cannot cut down my trees, he would have shown her what he can do. She would have evoked resistance from him, and he would have shown her his right and his power, but instead, by changing her vibration, she evoked harmony, you see. And so that is your dominant goal, to find first the harmony between you and you, and then you will be guided literally to the thought, word, and action that will take you swiftest and surest to the things that you've identified that you want.
Okay, my next question was, it fits right in here. How would you, Abraham, make a decision? I had, like today, there was a barrel race to go to, and then there was this event to go to, and I wanted to go to both of them, and I thought, well, you know, I can have my cake and eat it too. But then I'm looking up at the clouds, and I'm saying, sure looks like it's going to rain. And then it's in Bandera where there's black dirt, so I kind of weighed that, and this and that, and then I kind of saw myself there, and then I've got an instant, well, I don't know if I should go because the ground's going to be wet. Would you say that
making a decision would always be best made from your perspective of most information? In other words, do not most of you, before you make a decision, try to gather as much information as you can so that you can make a good decision.
Right.
Now, what we're wanting you to explore with us for a moment is an inner being that has walked with you every step as long as you've been here in this physical body, that is aware of all of the things that you've identified as what you want, even has registered the degree of wanting. In other words, your inner being knows the things you really, really want and really, really like, and the ones you sort of like and sort of want. In other words, your inner being has recorded all of that data. And so your inner being is in the best position to assist you in making the most appropriate decision under any and all conditions. And so if your dominant intent is to feel good, so that you're in a place where the intuition or the inspiration can flow forth, is that not the place where the decision is most likely to flow forth from? Now, we've been using, and we like it very much, we've broadened it a bit for you, the analogy of the magnet lying on the table next to the nail. In this analogy, the physical you would represent the nail, and the non-physical you, the broader, older, wiser, inner being part of you, would represent the magnet. And your goal from your physical perspective is to see them side by side. They're more powerful, you think, when they're together. And so you reach out and you push the nail a little closer to the magnet, and nothing happens except by your action you've pushed it closer. So then you reach out and you push it again, and nothing has happened except by your action you've pushed it closer. But sooner or later, all of a sudden, that nail comes within the harmony of the magnet, and the nail is drawn swiftly to the magnet. This is what happens when you, as a physical being, by your deliberate thought, begin pulling on the positive rope or thinking a thought that feels good to you, so that your personal vibration raises a little bit. As you bring your personal vibration within range of your inner being, then you make the connection. And that's when the best ideas come. That's when you feel best. That's when you see the furthest. That's when you make the decisions that are the most long-standing, you see. Most of you make most of your decisions from a place of lack. You don't have something that you think you want, and so in most cases, most decisions are made to try to soothe the feeling of emptiness. And we say, it's really going about it the hard way. Let your first and really only decision be, I want to harmonize with my broader knowing so that I can be compelled or inspired or guided to the decisions, to the thoughts, to the decision to think, to the decision to speak, to the decision to turn, to the decision to go. Some of our physical friends squirm around a little bit when we get